We're living in one of the most incredible times for human exploration. A new space age is here, and it's not just being driven by governments anymore. It's being built by innovators, by entrepreneurs, by dreamers just like you. And trust me, it's all happening a lot faster than you might think.
For decades, this was the dream, right? You had to be one of the elite few, picked by a national space agency, to even get a chance to leave Earth. But what if that whole idea is now just a thing of the past?
Yeah, think again. Because the rules have completely changed. We're talking about a future where your age, your background, or even your physical ability are no longer the huge barriers they once were. The final frontier? It is finally truly opening up for everyone.
Okay, so here's what we're going to cover. First, we'll look at how space travel is being totally reinvented. Then, we'll dive into a new kind of academy built for this new world. Check out the amazing training you can get, and then we'll imagine what your own future in space could be.
All right, first things first, we have to understand the massive shift that's taken place. And I'm not talking about a small change here. This is a giant leap in who can go to space and why.
Now, what's really wild about this timeline is just how fast things are moving. I mean, it starts with a few brave pioneers, right? But then look at what happens after 2011 when the space shuttle program ended. That created this huge opening, and companies like SpaceX, Virgin Galactic, and Blue Origin just rushed in. By 2021, private spaceflight went from being a once-in-a-lifetime event to a booming industry.
So the big takeaway here is that the old stereotype of the astronaut, the one you see in movies, is just getting totally shattered. You don't have to be a military test pilot or have a PhD in astrophysics anymore. This new era is for artists, for entrepreneurs, for creators. It's a fundamental move away from government-only projects to a vibrant, customer-first private market.
Okay, so the door to space is officially open. But how do you actually walk through it? Well, this is where a whole new way of thinking about education and training comes into play.
And this is exactly where Astrax Academy comes in. It was built on this exact idea. It's not about training people for old-school government rocket development. Nope. It's about building a sustainable community in space, run by private citizens, creating services that other private citizens actually want and need.
And this just perfectly shows the new way of thinking. A government astronaut was a super specialized expert for a national mission. But the future is the service astronaut. This is someone focused on customer experience, on business, on creating value. Think less about piloting the ship, which can now fly on its own, and more about providing an incredible service once you're up there.
So what does it actually take to become part of this new world? Well, the training is just as groundbreaking as the destination.
It's this really cool, structured path that takes you from just being curious all the way to launching your very own space business. You start with the basics, breaking down all those old myths. Then you get to specialize, picking a path that really fits your goals. And finally, you get one-on-one guidance to bring your space venture to life. Oh, and plus, there are some absolutely incredible hands-on courses you can add on.
And speaking of hands-on, this is where things get really exciting. This is where you go from theory to reality. Let's just do a quick flyby of some of the amazing experiences that get you ready for your mission.
First up, you can actually take zero-gravity flights. You get to experience true weightlessness, floating in a plane as it flies in these huge arcs, giving you a real taste of what it's like in orbit.
Next, you can step into a simulated lunar habitat, where you practice the everyday skills you would need for living and working on the surface of the moon.
You can even hop in the cockpit of a high-performance jet. And this isn't just for fun. It's to get your body and your mind ready for the incredible G-forces you'd feel during a real rocket launch.
And it's not all high-tech stuff. You also build those crucial leadership and teamwork skills right here on Earth, in some of the most challenging environments imaginable. It's about being ready for anything.
So, after all this incredible training, what's next? A whole new universe of possibilities opens up. What does a career in this new space age even look like?
Yeah, forget just astronaut. We're talking about real jobs being created right now. Spaceflight attendants who specialize in customer service. Event producers planning zero-gravity weddings. Space fashion designers. Space photographers. Even the very first pioneers who will build cities on the moon. These aren't sci-fi jobs anymore. This is the new economy.
And this really brings it all home, doesn't it? This new era is about building a future in space that can sustain itself. It's an ecosystem that isn't funded by taxes, but by creating real services that people actually want to buy.
That's the economic engine that will truly make us a multiplanetary species.
Look, this isn't some far-off science fiction dream anymore. It's happening right now. The jobs are being invented, the training is ready, and the rockets are flying. So the only real question left is, what's your mission going to be?